Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers, presented by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the afternoon. Joining me today, Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. What's up today, Hinks?
You know. Going.
Just another day of
another day.
No Charlie. Happy birthday to Charlie O'Connor, celebrating it overseas. So I guess like it's over, right? Like it's tomorrow in Italy. I don't know how time zones
I think
work.
it's probably like 8 o'clock in Italy.
All right, maybe? So he still has some celebrating left to do.
Yeah.
But if you haven't tweeted happy birthday at Charlie, do it or don't. I don't really care.
No, definitely do it.
It would be funny if it wasn't his birthday and you just did this to mess with him.
That would be funny.
It's Charlie, like. Yeah, you just got to mess with him sometimes. He's up on his pedestal as Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat reporter.
Yeah, listen,
and you got to take him down a bit.
Yes, because we respect him.
Yeah.
As his friends, it's our job to knock him down a little bit. So slide into Charlie's DMs and tell him he's pretty and say happy birthday.
Yeah, and then we'll bust his balls about it. Kelly, it was funny when you got here. We were just, what the hell are we talking about today? You're like, I'm sorry I missed the baby reindeer conversation.
I was upset that I missed the baby reindeer conversation.
It's never going to be over for me because that show will be stuck in my mind in some way. I don't get why anyone would watch that show. I watched the whole thing.
I was going to say, for the reason.
I watched the entire thing.
And did you watch it in a day?
Yes.
I watched it in a day.
I had no idea what it was about when I turned it on.
I thought it was going to be cute. I thought it was going to be like a sweet story of some kind.
It was
like a love story or something. Which I guess in a little bit it was a bit of a love story, but
for the mentally insane.
Yeah, I said to Bill, I was physically uncomfortable the entire time that I was watching it. That said, you should watch it. It was good, but in a very uncomfortable way.
I just can't call something like that good. I just need, I don't know. I found it. I don't get what enjoyment people got out of that.
Well, I mean, it's like watching a movie, a really good movie about World War II. Like, if you like the movie, it doesn't mean you liked World War II. It just means it was a well done piece of media. It was a well done piece of media about fucked up stuff.
I'm good on World War II movies now too. I think we've told that.
Honestly.
I think we've told that story enough.
I knew what happened.
I get it.
So.
It's like the only thing we learned in school.
I'm all set.
I'm pretty set with it.
Pick a different war.
No, so there was last night was more of a sports night for me after I spent the previous night watching Baby Reindeer, and we saw some real good games. We're going to talk about them, but the thing I wanted to start with was, so I shared a DM of this crazy dude who keeps DMing me a couple of shows ago, just about different things that the Flyers should do and shouldn't do, and he doesn't know much about anything.
I love this guy
last night asks me, is Andre any good? I heard on Facebook he sucks. And then he says, I heard he played a few games last year. I didn't notice him. So you have no idea who this guy is, but they need to get rid of him because he's not Cale Makar, according to you. But it's funny to watch this. This is happening in real time as Emil Andre scores a power play goal to put the Phantoms up 1-0.
Yeah.
And then makes a play at the blue line to set up what is eventually their second goal of the game. And they win 2-0. Cal Peterson with a shutout. Hershey Bears must have been drunk as shit.
That's the real story of that game.
I found it very funny.
So that guy's a witch, and he made Emil Andre do stuff.
Just as well as I think the Flyers have done, telling us this is what the rebuild is, and this is the development plan for certain guys. The casuals still have no idea what's going on. They're just like, the Flyers stink. They don't have any stars. They need snipers.
It's so fascinating to think about the casuals because we never encounter them. Because first of all, we're extremely not casual Flyers fans, obviously. At least I am way too online. No one on Flyers Twitter is a casual anything. Most of them are very intense. So I never really encounter like a guy that flips on a game every now and again and it just enjoys that. Like I never meet one of these people, and I would actually love to like sit down and talk to them and be like, what do you think's happening here? Do you like this? Is this good? Do you often think about Kate Smith? Like, what are these people?
Oh, there's a lot of people who think about Kate Smith. They think that's the reason for the bad luck.
Sure.
And I just want to know what happened in the 45 years in between.
I don't want to rehash that either.
I know.
There wasn't any good, like, there wasn't any good luck.
Like
except for the one time.
Like the first time they broke out that duet, I'm pretty sure was like the beginning of the end of the 3-1 comeback for the Devils in 2000.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the first times they broke out the duet. That's one of the low points in franchise history. They blow a 3-1 lead. The Devils go on to win the cup. Lindros gets hurt, never plays again for the team.
God, I was fucking thinking about that when Austin Matthews came back. People kept tweeting me about, it's just like when Lindros came back. I'm like, stop reminding me about that happening because I'm still upset about it. Because everyone did blame Eric Lindros for that series.
They did, and I have actually asked Keith Jones why they didn't just, win Game 5.
Could have done.
You could have just... He doesn't come back for 6 or 7 if you won Game 5.
Yeah.
Should
have done that.
There were no answers for that one,
Good job, Keith.
Kelly, the stuff I guess I wanted to talk about today to start is I saw on the flyby today you mentioned Sam Ersson playing in the Worlds, and I talked about it yesterday with JP. Going to be representing Team Sweden, one of 3 goalies on the roster, and I think it's a cool opportunity for him, not just so much for now as it sets him up a few years from now if he continues improving. There's like 2 pretty good Swedish goalies in the league at this moment. Linus Ullmark, he's awesome.
He's pretty good.
And Jacob Markstrom, who's going to be like 36 when the Olympics roll around. So maybe not, and he's not exactly coming off the best year this year.
Yeah.
There's a possibility Ersson, if he continues to improve, like if he becomes what I think he showed glimpses of this year, could be at least one of the goalies on the Swedish Olympic roster. That's awesome for him.
Yeah, it's neat.
That said, he just started like 48, 49 games, played 51 total. He was real tired at the end of the year. We all acknowledge it.
Yep.
Seems like he could use a break.
It was literally the first thought that I had. I was like, buddy, I thought you were tired. Like, could you... What if you get hurt, dude? Like
that's could you even more than the needs a rest, because like it's not as if he's playing a full season or something.
It's just a tournament.
It's a short tournament.
He might not even be the
There's 3
starter.
goalies on the roster. Like I just think, man, this goalie situation's already kind of precarious.
Yeah.
Like we're putting a lot on Sam Ersson, who the middle part of his season was really good. The end was horrific, basically.
Not good.
He's going to be the number 1, and then we're going to figure out if Ivan Fedotov can play at all.
At all.
Maybe he can. There's a real chance, but like I don't know, there's a chance he can't.
Yes. We saw both versions.
Yeah, like, he's a Flyers goalie. There's a chance he doesn't know how to play the position.
Can he turn
Those
left?
are our goalies. If the year starts and like I don't know, Sam Ersson has a pulled groin, like they're going to start 0-6.
I just can't.
And maybe that's good for the tank people, and it ultimately helps the rebuild.
Tired of those people, though. We're probably overthinking this.
I don't want to harp on it
because we're getting paid American dollars to overthink this.
Yeah,
he's probably going to be fine. It would just be nice if he was just like on a beach.
But that said,
he could be at the beach.
He's gonna work out and practice this summer. And
it'll be fine.
Joel Farabee got injured lifting weights. Yeah, like shit happens. So I guess you can't be overprotective. As much as I think they're going to be higher in the draft next year than they were this past season.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be because the goalies just stink, because then it's impossible to evaluate everyone else.
Didn't we think that last year, though? Didn't we think that this year they were going to be worse than last year?
There were just so many questions last, like, we don't know what Sean Couturier is.
True.
We don't know about Ersson. Like, there were so many things. Like, is Farabee going to play? Like, is he going to be better? He was until, the last couple weeks. Like, this year, I just think there's going to be some subtractions.
Yeah.
There's going to be just some attrition. Like, man, in January, these dudes are going to be like, we still have so long to go, and we're not going to get in the playoffs.
I'm already on my bullshit, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe they'll be better. Who can say?
Listen, it's possible. John Tortorella is a very good coach.
I mean, is it him, or is it just that the players aren't as bad as we think they are?
And guys could be better. I'm just expecting some subtractions, honestly.
Honestly, I think if we get to September and there haven't been any subtractions, I think we're probably going to be a little disappointed, honestly.
Yeah. I want to create spots for some young guys to either show us they are or aren't good. Like, I need Emil Andre on this team, man. I just, what is the point of running out some of these defense? Like, we're going to bring back Erik Johnson for what?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, Rasmus Ristolainen, for what reason is he going to be in this lineup? Unless they're just unable to trade him because nobody knows what his injury is and when he's going to be recovered.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Could be.
But there's just certain dudes, I'm like, this isn't serving the rebuild.
Yeah. There are guys on this team who are both too old and not that good. And if you can trade them, there's no reason not to trade them. Like, just part ways.
Like, I even floated the idea of bringing in, like, we'll talk about Marner maybe at some point because we're going to keep doing that.
Mitchie.
But just the idea of, like, bringing Tavares. He's got 1 year left. Yeah, he's overpaid, but figure it out.
Yeah.
And then you have, like, at least a center who can play. Then you can put wingers with him and see how it goes.
That's a
at
good
least
point.
that would in some way serve the rebuild.
Yeah.
I don't see in what way Rasmus Ristolainen makes anyone around him better.
He doesn't.
Like, it's hard for me, even though he has become a better player than he was. I don't see how this helps the rebuild progress.
No, you're right. You're 100% right about that. I hadn't thought about John Tavares. That's interesting.
Well, you know what you should think about?
What's that, Bill?
It's getting a vaccine at Rite Aid.
Oh, I love vaccines.
I didn't know how to set this one up.
You did great.
You got to protect yourself and your family by staying up to date on your immunizations. And Rite Aid pharmacists are specifically trained and certified immunizers. Most vaccines are no cost with insurance or through government plans like Medicare Part D. And if you're unsure about what vaccines you need, you can get a personalized recommendation from a Rite Aid pharmacist. Have questions about vaccines? Stop in and ask a Rite Aid pharmacist. Book a vaccine appointment today. You can schedule for yourself or for your whole family at riteaid.com/schedule. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details. Rite Aid pharmacists in Pennsylvania can immunize ages 18 plus 1 day for most vaccines and ages 3 plus for flu and COVID-19. Rite Aid pharmacists can vaccinate for COVID, shingles, pneumonia, tetanus, whooping cough, chicken pox, and much more. Vaccine centers at Rite Aid. Visit vaccine centers at Rite Aid. Select Rite Aid stores have a dedicated pharmacist ready to administer vaccines and answer all your questions. Have questions on what immunizations you need? Not sure if you're up to date? Feeling nervous to ask questions? A Rite Aid pharmacist will take the time to make personalized recommendations based on your health history and discuss any concerns. No questions are too small. Just walk in or schedule an appointment Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. State, age, and health restrictions may apply. Ask a Rite Aid pharmacist for details. All right, so that gets me to every day I ask myself, what's the point of today's show? And the point of today's show is to fulfill, the point of every show is to fulfill my contractual obligations so my paycheck continues to arrive in my bank account.
That's primary reason, yes.
But also, I love them Philadelphia Flyers, and there ain't nothing like talking Flyers hockey in the middle of May. But I asked myself, what is the point of today's show? And today I just thought, I don't know what the Flyers' priorities are this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we talked, there might be some changes. There might be some subtractions. There might be some hockey trades. I just can't quite figure out, what exactly... The way they talked at the exit interviews, it just seemed a little bit like, yeah, we're kind of going to run this thing back. And while part of me is, okay, yeah, just kind of continue with this group and see how they come along and then make the additions you need with the draft picks and acquire a star however you can, whenever you can. Okay, that makes sense. But also, man, that makes next year kind of pointless because we just saw it play out. Like, we just saw how this is going to go. Now, yeah, like, Farabee could not have a terrible end to the season.
Right.
Sean Couturier might figure out what he needs to do with his body so he can get through an 82-game grind. We're going to see more Forster. We're going to see more Brink. Hopefully we see Emil Andre. Cam York's going to continue to get better, hopefully. We're going to see these things. But it doesn't feel like they're setting themselves up to, like, take another step as an organization right now. Does it to you? Like, just based on everything we heard in exit interviews.
So the one like big matzo ball that's hanging out there still is this Michkov rumor that was kicking around.
That changes so much.
Because here's the thing, like, so at what point do you mentally say to yourself, all right, he's definitely not coming? Because the thing was like June, right? And
I think they said like the end of June, or maybe they have to decide by June 30th or something.
So we're in early May.
We have a while.
So we got a while before we know for sure if that is or is not happening. If that is happening, it changes so much that I don't know. Like, it's like two separate teams off season.
The Flyers are on the clock at 12.
Yeah.
And coming up to announce the pick, it's Danny, it's Jonesy, and who else? It's Mitch. It's Michkov.
Could you imagine?
Can you imagine? Like we had an opportunity. Maybe we were going to go to the Sphere, maybe not. I got a lot going on around that time. And I was like, listen, obviously I will take a trip to Vegas, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if we can't make this happen. And now just playing this out, like, if that were to happen and I'm not there, I'm going to be so upset.
You know where you could be, though, Bill?
Yeah.
The Broad Street Hockey Draft Party.
Oh, that's right.
Which will be announced shortly.
It will be announced shortly, and it's going to be in conjunction with us, I believe.
With PHLY.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a live show like we did for the trade deadline. That's what it was. We're going to be doing a live show for the draft, all that. Plenty to come, but that is also at the end of June. Mm-hmm. Like, it is a long time. I guess we just won't know. Yeah. We can't possibly know what the offseason plan is until we know about the most important thing looming over the organization.
So I guess if, like, you're asking me in today's reality, in which Matvei Michkov is not here, nor is he coming here for another 2 years. For me, I would like to see more subtraction than addition. Like we just talked about, getting rid of the guys that don't really serve the overall objective of the organization. And then I would also like to see them maybe, like, surgically figure out, like, there's all this smoke around Joel Farabee. Like, Friedman said something about it. Like, is he going to get traded? I don't know. It feels like if a hockey trade is going to be made, that's probably where it's starting, is with Joel Farabee. So, like, if we're going to do these kinds of things where you're thinking to yourself, okay, I don't think this player is going to fit my hockey team in 3 years when I need them to be good, let's start making some hockey trades with those guys and seeing how you can improve the thing going forward. Because if you don't think Joel Farabee, and it's interesting because, like, this is the conversation we were having about Morgan Frost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When we were all like, he's got no place here, no room for him. And now it's like, well, he's actually pretty good.
He's the only center.
Yeah, no, he's actually our only good center, so we have to keep him. So, like, it's, with these young guys, it's hard, but, like, I would just like to see them, I would like to end this summer thinking to myself, okay, cool. They still have a plan and they're still doing it. Because last summer, I think that we did start to see, like, oh, awesome. They definitely have a plan.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely, like, do I agree with the plan? Will the plan work? These are questions I don't know. But they have a plan. There was no plan for a very long time. So I would like to see more evidence that Briere and Jonesy and the rest of the front office are furthering this plan that they clearly have in their head. Because that just means that, like, there's an objective and they're working towards it.
If it's just we're continuing this information gathering thing, like, spending this season doing that is totally fine for me. But it's not. I don't want to advocate moves for the sake of moves, but it just kind of seems as if doing it again is waiting. Like, you're waiting rather than being proactive.
Yeah.
Like, eventually we'll figure it out. If we just give these guys enough time, Torts will turn them all into great playoff performers, and we never really even needed to rebuild that much. This group of guys that was here is a fine group of guys. Like, there is just no way that this group that they have is the group that's going to be on the next team that's in an Eastern Conference final.
No.
And I would like to see, like, a little push forward towards that. Like, even if it's moving on, I don't necessarily want to trade Joel Farabee because I think he showed me enough in the first 2/3 of the season that, like, I think he's pretty good. Also, he's the only natural left winger on the roster. But if he can be part of something that gets you the center you need, or another defenseman you need, or another pick in the draft, whatever, move up, I'm all for it. Like, just to see that there's a little progress forward, that next year isn't going to be the same as the year we just went through.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Like, we should be seeing something new next summer. Next year. What that is, I don't know. Like, if it's new players, if it's, more guys from the Phantoms making the roster out of camp. Like, there does need to be some, as you said, forward progress toward a new roster, because you're right. Like, this roster, half of it, maybe half of these guys would be a part of it. So, like, yeah, you got to start figuring out what you've got in the prospects that you do have, and also acquiring whatever assets you think that you need. And also they need to, like, absolutely slay the draft. Like, they can't fuck that up.
No, this needs to be, I believe last year we all kind of look at it as a pretty successful draft. Yeah. Like, you got what could be a top pair, at least top 4 defensemen in Bonk. Obviously, you got Michkov. Denver Barkey looks like that's one of those diamond in the rough picks where, we might have something here a little better than the draft slot we got him at. Yeah. The depth of the draft people seem to really like, and we'll see how it plays out. We've been through this before. Oh man, they killed the draft, and then, all right, where are all these guys 3 years later? But as of right now, it looks like they did a good job in Danny's first draft. I think they'll do a good job again. It sounds as if they're going to be trying to be active again and making things happen. They have targets. That's all great. But that's the first part. And I hate that we have to wait till another month and a half for this.
I know. Nothing's going to happen between now and then.
It is very annoying, but I do think the point of this offseason needs to be carving a clearer direction.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
I liked what you did last offseason. It made sense. Let's continue doing things that set us up for a couple of years from now when Michkov gets here. And if he gets here early, let's accelerate this thing a little bit then. Because, yes, is a 19-year-old going to make a difference?
Maybe.
Not that much. But he could if you put other guys around him. Like, it's definitely possible. It's not as if this is a team of 19-year-olds. Like, these young guys we're talking about are all in their 20s. Yes. Some of them in their mid-20s, like Owen Tippett.
Right.
Travis Konecny. We'll talk about him in a minute. But first, let's talk about Mortgage CS. We're talking about the housing market. And, yeah, listen, rates are slightly higher, but home prices are still rising. Mortgage CS can help you get into a home before they go even higher, and also refinance to save money when the rates do drop. Who doesn't love that? The same house with a lower payment. Sounds pretty nice. We all know about interest rates right now, but the thing is, if you're in the market for a home, home values are elevated and expected to keep rising as well. So it might not make sense for you to keep waiting for interest rates to drop before you buy a home when the price of houses keeps going up. Plus, Mortgage CS will monitor your refinance opportunities and ensure you save money responsibly when the rates do drop. Refinancing with Mortgage CS is straightforward. You don't want to pay a ton of fees when you refinance, and you'll never get that at Mortgage CS. In the end, you'll be so happy you texted the CEO, Ben, and you'll find out for yourself the reason people win more with Mortgage CS. So call or text Ben now at 267-391-7425 and see for yourself. You can also go to mortgagecs.com/PHLY to check them out or to view their 350-plus perfect 5-star reviews by searching Mortgage CS right now. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. Oh, nice. I found it. Is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com for more information. All right, and that gets me to Anthony DeMarco's article I read today over at the fourth period. It's pretty good if you want to give it a shot. First, the bulk of it is about Sean Couturier's agent change. Okay. And the first interesting thing he pointed out, because we discussed this a little, I can't remember if you were here for it, when Torts kind of called out Couturier's agent, was like, I don't even know if that's his agent.
Yeah.
It might not have actually been. He says, what's important to note is that Couturier did not change agents. He did not have formal representation before hiring Pat Brisson last week. While Eric Lupien was previously listed as Couturier's agent, he did not formally represent the player. It was actually Lupien's father, Gillis, was Coots' agent when he signed his 8-year contract in 2021. Since then, Couturier has not had formal representation, though the younger Lupien was still listed for NHLPA purposes. And so when he spoke out on Couturier's behalf, it may not have sat all that well with Coots.
So all of this makes perfect sense now.
Like, it makes way more sense.
There's literally nothing remarkable about this at this point. So he didn't have an agent because his agent died, right?
I guess that's what happened, or retired.
Let's go with one of those. So I'm guessing as a favor to him, he was like, all right, you can be my agent.
I guess he has to have an agent listed. Yeah,
but he wasn't really. So then this kid says stuff out loud, probably without asking Couturier if he wanted him to. And the Couturier is like, dude, you're not even my fucking agent. Why are you saying this stuff? Now people are asking me things and everyone thinks I hate the coach. Now it's a problem. So he was like, I guess I got to get a real agent now. And so he went and got one.
So he went with Brisson, who is
everybody's agent.
One of the highest, probably the highest powered agent in the game. And the thing is, though, the article goes on to say there are sources saying this isn't just because he wanted, I should go out and hire an agent. He does have his contract. It's not as if he's going to be negotiating one of those at any point. It might sound like he's the kind of guy you bring in if you need somebody with the reach to get a trade this complicated done.
Who sources? Who's
it's
saying?
Anthony DeMarco.
He's saying this?
Yes.
Now, first of all, you didn't put that in the outline. Disrespectful to me.
Disrespectful to me.
Because I didn't read the article. But I just, you have to have an agent. That's one of the things you have to have. I watch Entourage. Everyone has to have an agent. What if he wants to get a deal with Nike? I'm sure that they're knocking. I'm sure that there's plenty of brands that want Sean Couturier as the face of them.
That was the thing that stuck out to me is Sean Couturier is not Austin Matthews. Maybe he's going to get a Cure auto insurance commercial.
You guys, someone's got to negotiate that for you.
I guess.
Someone's got to take the
10%. Yeah, exactly. It just seems like it's part of this bigger thing.
We talked about this at the beginning, though. If that's the case, both of these things are good. It's good if there's nothing here and everything's fine. And Couturier was just I guess I'm going to have to be a grown-up and get an agent. And then it's also good if Couturier is actively trying to find a way out of Philadelphia, because as much as I like him, his contract is a problem.
Well,
so if we can get rid of it, all right.
Funny you should mention his contract, because one of the rumors cited in the article, a potential possibility, is flipping him to Calgary for Jonathan Huberdeau, who was signed at 10.5, and after his awesome season with Florida a couple of years ago, he's put up 107 points combined in the last 2 years.
So I don't doubt that DeMarco has sources. He's a big I'm hearing guy. But precisely why would the Flyers do such a thing? Why would they do that? Jonathan Huberdeau is a problem for the Calgary Flames.
Yeah.
We don't need any more problems. And it sounds like he could be a bigger problem because he makes more dollars.
I suppose the thought is he could provide them a bit more of what they need and play with the
Are we
pace.
doing the change of scenery?
Yes. And the pace he might be able to play with could fit John Tortorella a bit more. That was a big sticking point, it seems, for Kevin Hayes, for Sean Couturier. But then they are these more deliberate kind of guys. And Huberdeau, we know he had that huge year playing in that straight up rush-based offense they had in Florida.
But here's the thing, is a guy who, what appears to be, didn't like that he got traded to Calgary and has kind of been like a little bit of a piss baby about it. Like, is that a John Tortorella guy? I don't know. I just feel, I don't know that. How old is Jonathan Huberdeau?
He will turn 31.
Yeah, no. I don't need a 31-year-old project.
In like a month. Yeah.
I'll take like a 25-year-old project, a 26-year-old project at this stage of the game. We don't need a 31-year-old project. Like, if we're going to be stuck with an albatross of a contract, it might as well just be the one that we know. We know what Sean Couturier is.
He had 115 points with Florida in 2021-22.
Yeah, he was
in the
really
last
good.
2 years, he's had 107 points combined.
Also, like,
he is a left winger. That could solve that problem.
I guess. I don't know.
It just
doesn't solve, unless Huberdeau comes here and turns into Florida, the Florida version of himself. It doesn't solve a single problem, really. Because now we're down another center. Like, now we need another fucking center. Like, where are we getting these centers from? I don't know. It's just like,
I guess the thought is he'd just be a better stylistic fit, and you would get out from under the Couturier contract. He's marginally younger than Couturier. He makes $3 million more than Couturier. I'm just trying to come up with a reason it makes sense.
Could we get some kind of like guarantee in writing from John Tortorella that he's going to give me Florida's like game strategy? Like, I would like them to play exactly like Florida did in that year. That was a lot of fun for everybody.
They tried this year.
5 forwards on the power play. Let's go. Like, let's do it. But I don't know. I don't love that one. But, you know, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal.
It's not the best.
I read this and went, oh man, of all the ways you can get out of the Couturier contract,
taking on a worse one doesn't seem like the way.
I don't know if taking on a guy the same age from the same draft who has seen a precipitous drop in production is the way to go about it. But these are just rumors. Like, these are just things that are being kicked about because it could fit both guys, kind of. Maybe he wants to get back on the East Coast. Maybe Couturier's like, I don't give a fuck. Get me out of here.
Everyone hates playing in Calgary. Why would Couturier want to go to Calgary?
I don't know. He's kind of Canadian.
Yeah, but not that way.
It's all the same.
That's the bad side.
Yeah, listen to Bret Hart talk. Like, he's not allowed to get pinned anywhere in Canada. It's basically all one place. It's one huge forest.
Well,
so, you know, I guess.
Alberta is special in a bad way. I don't know.
I don't really know where anywhere in Canada is. I saw someone
over there.
It's up. It's up. I saw someone on Twitter the other day say they're rooting for Vancouver because it's the only Canadian city they can ballpark on a map. I was like, you know what? I agree.
You can ballpark Edmonton.
It's like a little to the east of Vancouver.
There you go.
Like,
fucking nailed it.
I know, like, Toronto must be pretty close to Buffalo, but I don't know if I could find Buffalo on a map.
I believe you could, Brian. I have a lot of faith in you.
We used to play this game at Broad Street Hockey.
We did.
And I'm like, I can't probably name all the states. If you were to put the states in front of me, I don't know if I could get them all.
We did used to do this. What's wrong with us?
I am horrible at geography. Like, I have plenty of skills. Like, I can do this. We don't have a show topic today, and we're going to end up filling out an hour. I can bullshit with like this for an hour. But like,
well, you know,
geography.
You don't technically have to know anything anymore.
Yeah, it's honestly, why would I waste the time to know things when I'm spending all this money on a computer in my pocket? Like, put it to use.
I have other things you can place into your brain: wrestling facts, hockey facts, directions to various bars and restaurants. Like, you don't need to know where Edmonton is.
Oh, Ava gets so mad at me. Like, I don't know anyone's name. I don't know where anything. I don't know where anything is, and then I'll just be talking, and I'll mention like, a Mick Foley match from 1999. And she's like, what's the mat? Why? Why can't you just know my cousin's names?
Names are hard.
I'm like, I don't know. If I could, I would. Like, I have to reset my password every time I check the bank account. I don't know. Because.
If my browser didn't remember my passwords, I would be useless.
Yes, it would be horrible. Before we get to the mailbag of the day, the next thing I want to talk about in terms of priorities this offseason, because I do think making roster spots should be one of the priorities, whether it's moving on from guys like Farabee in a hockey trade or Ristolainen just to open up space, Lawton to open up space, Couturier to get out from under it, whatever it is, that should be a priority. It seems like, at least what we thought a few weeks ago, priority number one, re-signing Travis Konecny. Should that be priority number one?
Nope. No. You have all year, number one. Like, you don't have to do it this summer. There's nothing that says that you have to. And also, I feel like you gotta, like, you need to see yourself what this summer is for you. Like, Danny Briere has a plan, surely. He doesn't know if any of it's going to happen. And I feel like that should probably inform what you think you're going to do with Travis Konecny. Like, I just don't want to see them do the Travis Sanheim contract. Like, you don't have to do it right now. Like, just take a breath. He's not going anywhere this year. So we don't have to do it. And I think that they're going to. 100% going to do it. And I just think it's a problem. But you had an interesting thought about this pre-show. About like what you would rather do.
There's a lot I would rather do than resign. Like, if they just play this out and like what, the draft is right before July 1st when he's actually eligible. You go to him and be like, hey man, we can get we're looking to make a big draft day trade. Sorry, man, you're part of this. You could do it right then, trade him. After July 1st, like July 4th, when everyone has made their big signings and there's still teams out there that lost out on guys. Okay, Travis Konecny, pretty good player. You might be able to sell him then. There could be injuries in training camp, preseason, early in the season. A contending team loses a good player, and it's like, well, this kind of fucks us. Hey, here's Travis Konecny as a rental for you. You could wait till the deadline when prices are what they are, but you can still get something for him. Yeah. You can trade his rights all the way up till next July 1st. I just don't see the point of like doing it right now, especially like when you said you don't know what this is yet because your plan hasn't played out this summer. I will say we've had this Mitch Marner conversation a few times because he's a hot topic right now.
People be talking about him.
And the Flyers, obviously.
Yeah.
Danny Briere is going to be aggressive. He's got that bias for action we were looking for from Chuck Fletcher. I will never get over that. Like, maybe the most boring dude I've ever encountered. Bias for action.
That's the first thing he told us. What a liar.
If they were going to say, re-sign Travis Konecny at the $8.5, $9 million mark that we think he's probably going to get. I'd rather trade him for Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
I would rather get better Travis Konecny and just hope, like John Tortorella believes he can turn guys into playoff players. Well, if you can do it with TK, do it with the guy who's better than TK. Like, Mitch Marner in my head is better Travis Konecny.
Oh, yes.
Like, that's what he is. So do that with him. And if it costs you a few million more, but you get a better player, you get a better player. Yeah. I just don't understand, like, why would we do it with him if the other guy's available?
Yeah, and there's an article in Sportsnet yesterday. It's in the flyby if you head on over to broadstreethockey.com. And I thought
this trade proposal.
I always find it interesting. Let me pull it actually up so I don't fuck it up. I always find it interesting when Canadian outlets drop things like this about the Leafs because I feel like they are more tied in, I think, to what people would expect the Leafs to do than like we are down here because everyone is obsessed with the Leafs.
Yeah.
They had an article about 4 trades that the Leafs could make for Mitch Marner. And the Flyers one was, we get Mitch Marner. The Maple Leafs get Scott Lawton, defenseman Mario Ferraro, San Jose's 2024 second round pick. The Sharks get Oliver Bonk. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, that's it? Like that's it? Scott Laughton and Oliver Bonk, like, unless people, and I'm not sure what like the fans are expecting of Oliver Bonk, and like I think it's fair to be high on him at this point.
Yeah,
but like, especially with defensemen, like he could just be a guy. Like he could just be like
we have seen that a lot.
Yeah, he could be like a fine 4-5 or something. Could he be a top pair defenseman?
I know he might be really, really good. Like, I'm not ruling out that possibility.
He definitely could be.
He absolutely could be. I'm just saying, if you're looking at the raw points total and going, look at what this guy's doing offensively, it's probably in a role that might not be replicable in the NHL.
Correct.
Now, we do know John Tortorella, one of the ways in which he's progressive is kind of giving his defensemen the green light, to be more rovers, guys who aren't necessarily like, you're a defenseman, damn it. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you're just going to go be a hockey player. Yeah. Go do the hockey. Maybe Oliver Bonk fits in perfectly with that idea. And honestly, it's not like the power play could get any worse. So if you put him at the bumper, maybe he's perfect for it. But it seems at least less than 50% likely he's going to be this sort of offensive force in the NHL.
Yeah. And someone in the comments here said Bonk is untouchable. And to me, that's bonkers because, like, there was a time when there was, like, oh, that's funny. I didn't even realize that I did that. Look at me.
He's not untouchable.
There was, like, a conversation ages ago about, like, someone tweeted, I wouldn't trade Phil Myers for William Nylander. Like, this was a thing, like, years ago when we thought Phil Myers might be a thing. Wouldn't you say, like, I wish we had traded Phil Myers for William Nylander? Like, I'm not saying that was a thing that was going to happen, but like discourse amongst the fans was like, would you trade Phil Myers for William Nylander? And a lot of people were like, no way. No fucking way. You don't trade Phil Myers. Like, you got to take a step back and think like, I understand that like right now, Oliver Bonk is the box. He could be anything. We don't know what he's going to be. And that's very exciting. But Mitch Marner is a boat. So if you could trade the box for the boat, you get the boat. Like, that's the point of the joke. You always take the boat. But I don't know why Toronto would do that trade. Frankly, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. But then I think like Toronto,
so they get Scott Laughton in a second-round pick.
Fucking crazy. I do think that like that organization is looking at what happened and being like, you know who would have helped Scott Laughton? I bet we need a guy like Scott Laughton.
It's almost a shame for like the group because like, yes, they have run out of the benefit of the doubt and that just is what it is. Like when you have the same problem over and over again, but like this year it's totally explainable. Like Nylander didn't play the first 3 games. Austin Matthews missed a bunch of games. Like, okay,
their goaltender got hurt in the elimination
game. Then they lost their goaltender for game 7. Like, there actually are excuses this year, but it is their fault that they've run out of the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for sure.
I get why they need to make change, and if I was a Maple Leafs fan, I would be saying, I don't give a fuck, make a change.
And they finally fired Keefe today, so that was something.
Oh, did they actually fire Keefe? I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, that is the absolute
had to
bare
do that, the bare minimum, yes, that they have to do. And they're obviously going to trade someone, and it probably is going to be Mitch Marner because it's very clear that he's the guy.
He's the guy.
That everyone is like, fuck this guy. We're tired of his bullshit.
I mean, also, they just signed Nylander to all that money.
Right,
and he did score, 3 goals in the series despite missing time.
And to be fair, like,
Matthews is one of the best players in the league. And Tavares is like,
I don't think you can trade
he's
him.
at 11.5 with a no move.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere.
I feel like, and also, if you're a Leafs fan and you're watching those games, I think it's very clear why you would look at Mitch Marner and be like, you're the asshole.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you are kind of an asshole. You never shut up.
Yeah.
You called yourself a god out loud to a microphone. Like, what are you doing?
I really think that quote got misconstrued.
Did it?
He said we get treated like gods here. Maple Leafs players are fucking everything to do. Look at
this is a Flyers
show, and we're talking about the Leafs.
He's not wrong, but you don't fucking say it out loud,
like,
Bill.
If you say, "Why do you want to stay here?" Like, because my life is awesome.
Oh yeah,
like, I would agree with that. I mean, do you remember that?
We don't have to talk about
it. Was like that. Like 36 hours or something. It was like a little doc series the NHL did. And like the first one was with Nick Lidstrom, and the second one was with Mike Richards' his first year in LA. And he's just like, in his beach mansion, walking on the beach with his dog, like, are you kidding me? You know, like that's Mitch Marner's life. I am the equivalent of like a Hollywood celebrity.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he is, but like,
I guess you don't say it, but I just think he's not calling himself, I am God. Like, I don't think he's saying that.
I think he thinks it, though. His dad's been telling him that for a long time.
His dad.
Anyway.
One of the things, did we talk about this? I'm done with parents. I do.
No
like,
more,
him having a dad like that, I'm kind of done with the parents.
If we end up with
athletes.
Mitch Marner, his dad is barred from the Wells Fargo Center. He's barred from the practice facility. Paul cannot come anywhere near the Flyers organization.
Like, if we get a Kachuk, that's one thing.
No, his dad's
like,
cool.
If we end up drafting, a Ginla's kid, okay. Yeah. But this is just some guy. Yeah. This is just some guy.
No.
But anyway, what were we even talking about?
That Mitch Marner's better Travis Konecny. If you're going to sign Travis Konecny to 9, you might as well get Mitch Marner.
If you're going to give him 8.5, 9, why not just like get Mitch Marner? And I'm not even saying you re-sign him right away, but if he's going to be 11, 12, why not do that?
Because he's better.
Yeah, like I don't really see the difference there. I'll tell you what I do see the difference with, though.
What's that, Bill?
I like going to live events. It's one of my favorite things to do. Concerts, sporting events, whatever it might be. I was telling Charlie the other day, like, for the last few years, it was my job. I had to work at Citizens Bank Park before games. So I didn't like love staying. I was like, I just want to I'm at work right now. I want to go home. Now that I don't have that, I am once again loving going to Phillies games.
Yeah, I saw you and Abe went the other day.
We did. We've been to like one game a week at least so far this season. It's been awesome. And Game Time is the place to buy last-minute MLB tickets. You know about the killer last-minute deals, the all-in pricing, the seat view, which is absolutely phenomenal, and the lowest price guarantee. All that, it just combines to make Game Time the place to get MLB tickets because they take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. So maybe you're checking out the weather. You're thinking, I'm not so sure about today. I'm not so sure. Well, wait till an hour before first pitch. Check it out and say, oh, it is a beautiful day. Let's go. Let's go down there. Let's go down to Citizens Bank Park. Check out the best team in baseball. And you get the killer last-minute deals, all of that Game Time with the Game Time app. You get even better deals, the flash deals on the app. You can save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price. Guaranteed. I thought you would really like this mailbag question. I saved it for a day you would be on.
Yay.
It's from our pal Devin. Mailbag question of the day.
Devin.
So, couple teams play a sound for when their player exits the penalty box when they successfully kill a penalty. His favorite is Colorado. They play that like Mario, power up, the mushroom sound effect. What could the Flyers play? My suggestion is a clip of the Always Sunny Dayman song where they sing, ah. And for anyone unfamiliar, this is what it would sound like.
Oh, fighter of the night, man.
Yes.
It would be.
Yes.
I think he might have nailed it. Like, I was trying to think of different things it could possibly be.
That's good.
Damn, that's really good.
Whichever Flyers intern has been charged with listening to this podcast, please take that to your boss. That's a very good idea.
This is like the in-game experience is something that hasn't really been updated a lot.
So they did make some improvements, I feel, last year.
You go to a lot more games than I do.
There's some fine-tuning that could be done. Flyers, you can call me and we can talk about it. But there are a few things that other teams, I think, do better that the Flyers could kind of steal a little bit, and that's one of them.
A few years ago, like prior to the pandemic, they hired DJ Reed Streets to do the music. Charlie did an awesome article for The Athletic on it. If you think Charlie's a good hockey writer, which he absolutely is, his music writing is fantastic.
So good. Yes.
But like that was a really cool change. Like you could notice the change in the presentation when they switched up the music a little bit.
Yes.
I feel like they haven't done a ton other than Gritty to change up the presentation in the last few years.
Not too much. There are some things. The music,
it's kind of back to what it was.
It's gotten it got worse when they got rid of the DJ. They
it seems like everything's just automated now.
There's literally no way he costs that much money. Like, what are you paying him? Like $50,000? Like, just bring the man back to put the good songs on. Also, I really don't. I always worry that this is just me being old, but I don't think it is because I go to a lot of concerts and I don't have a problem. The music is too loud at Flyers games. Like there are parts of the arena that you can sit in where you can like feel the sound waves like hitting your body. Like it's just like
we did that.
Take it down like one notch.
We did that takeover in the assembly room, and we were like sitting in one area, and people were talking to me, and I was just
couldn't hear him, right?
I had no chance of, and I just have like, I don't know if it's from wearing headphones my whole life, like in school, on the bus, and then doing what I do as a profession now. I've worn headphones for the last years upon years. Maybe that's the problem. But
no,
like,
it's too loud.
I have, if there's any sort of background noise, I can't hear you.
Yes,
and at a Flyers game, I'm completely deaf.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Oh, we have a super chat. Listen, it's from Gary B. Gary B. Fuck yeah, Bill and Kelly H. doing today's show. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Yes, absolutely. Charlie's on vacay. I mean, Kelly, you're a staple of the show. We have you 2 days a week this summer. I'm trying to get you more, but you have like a job.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm forced to do tasks on a daily basis.
I mean, these are work hours, but yeah.
I'm on my lunch break.
Oh, okay.
Let's not make a thing about it.
Oh,
it's my lunch hour.
But if you have suggestions, like I think Devin nailed it. If you think there's something they could do in-game presentation-wise with the, let us know at PHLY_Flyers. I think he nailed it, though.
That's good. That would be really good.
That's very us. It's very recognizable.
It's recognizable. It would be incredibly annoying for the other team, which is perfect. No, it's great.
No, the annoying part, like when everyone was wooing for that little bit.
That was
like,
good.
That was good and annoying, even though it pissed off the Flyers, too. They didn't like it either, but too bad. You don't get to choose.
They could incorporate a lot of It's Always Sunny, I feel.
And they could do a bit more. Yeah. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about the playoffs a bit, and really what I want to talk about.
You like that?
Oh,
you like that pasta fight?
That is playoff hockey, man. Tell me that did not remind you of LeCavalier and Iginla.
It was very throwback.
And it was, those two weren't, that's not a staged fight. Like, it's, okay, let's go out and let's do this. Like, they wanted to hurt each other.
And, like,
they were trying to hurt each other.
Credit to Pasternak. Like, you were not going up against any dude. Like,
no.
You were going up against a Kachuk brother.
Yes.
And possibly the crazier one?
Brady's out of his mind
Brady
sometimes.
Is a little crazy.
He's wild. Brady is like, he's got that Brandon Manning, we're losing.
That's true.
I'm going to do something.
I'm just going to murder
like, at the end of every game, I'm going to punch somebody. It's like, I don't think you need to do that to stay in the lineup.
No. I will say I do really hope that game was a little like Happy finally learned how to putt. Like I hope, because Florida was floundering a little bit there.
Florida,
I want them to win.
I feel like they kind of acknowledged coming in, like, listen, we've had like a week off.
Yeah.
And Boston, like, they're kind of on the routine of that every other day schedule. They're rolling a little bit. They're feeling good after winning a Game 7.
Yeah.
I think this might be a little bit more like Game 2 than Game 1. Like the rest of the way. Hopefully. I could be wrong. These playoffs, hopefully it's a good series. Like I want the playoffs to go as long as possible, because then hockey's just over.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to watch the NBA. Like, oh, the Celtics and the Knicks, cool. That sounds great.
No.
Like, no.
Good thing the Phillies are good, right?
Yeah, at least we have baseball. But man, that's what playoff hockey is.
It was very entertaining.
I love that people are pissed when they lose, and we are going to try to hurt you for the next game. I realize that it's barbaric and fucked up, but that's hockey, man. You listen to some of these old guys talk about, like, I can't remember what it was. It might have been on Chicklets or something. I can't remember, but someone telling a story of, like, coming out of a locker room in the 80s. They had a plan to, like, jump someone on the other team. Like, when they were, like, getting on the bus. Like, we were going to circle around and we were going to hide out. And, like, our coach found us and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Whatever you're doing, stop. Like, they were going to just beat the shit out of some guy because he was getting on the bus. It's like, this is what hockey is. It's insane, people.
Well, that's the thing. And, like, that's the thing that I want people to understand, that, like, I don't know, people like you and I, That's the kind of hockey that we like. And that is different, in my opinion, than like what Jacob Trouba does. Like, I feel like people are like, what do you want the playoffs to be like? No, like what Trouba does. Like, I kind of love that he missed that hit because it was just like a perfect illustration. Like, oh, now you can see what he does on every one of these hits. He just goes in flying with the elbow out.
That was insane.
He was trying to murder that man. He was trying to take his head off. That's different from what we saw in this Florida-Boston game. That is fun and good. You can do clean barbarism. That's the word, right? Yeah. Clean barbarism, I think, is what we're in favor of. I don't want to see players' careers ended. That's not fun.
I like when two guys decide enough and fucking fight.
Like, I hate you.
Yeah.
I'm going to, as you said, kick your ass. Like, that's fun. That is the playoffs.
They were attempting to hurt each other.
They were
there's no question.
No, that was not a Nick Deslauriers. Like, that's the other thing. Like, that's not a Nick Deslauriers fight where they're like, man, you want to go? You want to go? Okay, we'll go. And then they fight. That was emotion driven. That was like spur of the moment.
No, Pasta's like, let me out there. I'm fucking fighting him. I'm not afraid of him. And Montgomery's like, all right.
Yeah, right. I know. And like,
sure.
Pasternak is like a guy you kind of need on the ice. Like, you can't really risk him getting hurt in a fight with Matthew Tkachuk. But like,
that's
had
hockey,
to happen.
Man. Yeah, it had to happen, and that's just what's awesome. So hopefully we get a lot more of this. I see one more, another super chat from him. Can't wait for us to take over Anaheim next year. Man, should we do that? Should we take a little trip?
Oh, could we put together a trip to Anaheim?
I think us and True Fan Travel might have a little conversation about that. Oh man,
I'm not saying it's a bad idea.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea either. All right, but that's all the time we have for you today on PHLY Flyers. Before we get out of here, I got to tell you about a little event we got coming up tomorrow. That's right, tomorrow at Manayunk Brewing. As I'm trying to find it right here. There it is. You can join the Phillies crew at Manayunk Brewing Company for a live show and watch party as the Phils take on the Miami Marlins. You can enjoy some Miller Lite cold ones for $4 for a 16-ounce can all night. And they're giving away 2 pairs of tickets to 2 lucky winners who show up. A set of tickets in Section 210 to the June 4th game versus the Brewers, and a set of tickets in Section 210 to the July 14th game against the A's. So get your free RSVP at allphly.com. Show up, enjoy some cold ones, and enter to win. You can do all that at allphly.com. It's tomorrow at Manayunk Brewing Company. Hang out with Renee. Hang out with Jamie. It's going to be a damn good time. All right, that's it for us. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Set those reminders. Never miss a live show. Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Follow the podcast, PHLY Flyers, wherever you get those. All right, that's it. My name's Bill Matz. That's Kelly Hinkle. Stay loose and sexy, Philly.
We all silly like the mayor.